Ladies and gentlemen, with all of the talk of reparations, they had to find a way to get that out of the media, and they have found it through making a big deal out of the conditions that the migrants are in. That's now the big news in America. So, Mike Pence, the vice president, toured the detention centers, and he had to admit the conditions were bad. He had to admit it. He said he wasn't shocked by what he saw, but he did have to admit, because CNN was with him when he toured through, he did admit that the conditions were not good. So Trump is now coming out and contradicting what Mike Pence said. And he said the conditions are fine. And Trump has a very primitive way of thinking. We know this from the time he's been in office. So his way of thinking is, yeah, if the conditions are bad, don't come here. Don't come to America. We don't want you here. You shouldn't be here in the first place. So he doesn't care anything about those conditions. And I didn't think Trump did, because look at all the days that this has been in the media, and he has never said one single thing about the conditions these folks are in. That should be a clear indicator that he does not care, ladies and gentlemen. He don't care, and he's not going to care. So this came out in Slate, July 14th, 2019. Trump appears to contradict Pence, defends condition of migrant detention centers. So Trump don't care. So, ladies and gentlemen, look at these people. They made the trip all the way. Some of them walked hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles to reach the border just to end up in a crammed up facility. And Lindsey Graham just came out recently and said they can be in these conditions for up to 400 days. That's over a year in these conditions. And they said it smells so foul in there because these people haven't showered in several days. So it's a bad stench in there. So he doesn't care. He does not care. So this is in McAllen, Texas, one of their centers for migrants. So Trump seemed to have come to a very different conclusion than Vice President Mike Pence, who toured the facilities in Texas and acknowledged the conditions were hardly optimal. But one thing Pence did say, he said he was really not shocked by what he saw. And he said he knew the system would be overwhelmed because, these people keep coming and coming. So Trump pretty much said on Sunday, he sent out a couple of tweets. You know how Trump does it. He does it through tweets. And he pretty much said, sorry, can't let them come into our country. Trump tweeted. So if too crowded, tell them not to come to the USA. And tell the Dems to fix the loopholes. Problem solved. And if you go down here, you'll see his tweets. So he sent these out on July 14th, 2019 at 9:45 a.m. Friday's tour showed vividly to politicians and the media how well run and clean the children's detention centers are. Great reviews, failing at New York Times. Story was fake. The adult single men areas were clean but crowded, also loaded up with a big percentage of criminals. So that's what Trump tweeted out. Then he sent another tweet out and said, sorry, can't let them into our country. If too crowded, tell them not to come to the USA, and tell the Dems to fix the loopholes. Problem solved. All right, so that's what he sent out. So he doesn't care. And with that attitude, he's not going to fix anything. Okay, so those conditions will remain like that. He doesn't care. The president said that Pence's tour of the facility showed how well run and clean the children's detention centers are, adding that they had great reviews. Trump then proceeded to blast the New York Times for its coverage, noting that the adult single men's area were clean but overcrowded. Yeah, I mean, they are overcrowded. I mean, there's no doubt about it when you look at them in those fences. They are really, there's no room to turn. And appeared justify the conditions and saying that they are loaded up with a big percentage of criminals. Quoting Trump's tweet, Josh Dawsey, and you can see he's of the Washington Post right here. He also put a tweet out there. Josh Dawsey said the men crammed inside fences were sleeping on concrete and said they hadn't showered in many days. It was sweltering hot and the stench was horrific. So that's how he replied to Trump's tweet. So, ladies and gentlemen, Trump don't want these people here. And you can see I saw this one recently. Lindsey Graham was saying that these folks can be in this facility up to 400 days. I mean, to be in those conditions. And you know what that tells me? Trump wants to make their experience so bad that they never attempt to come back. I know what he's doing. And unfortunately, it's not going to work. These folks are going to keep coming and coming. They have been doing this for many, many decades now. And putting up these facilities, they're not going to stop coming here. They're not. You know, and don't forget, they don't just come into the U.S., they go into Canada too. You know, and many of them will divert those caravans into Canada. They'll find other ways of coming. But, you know, and there's too many ways for them to get here by boat as well. So it resolves maybe the problem of the people that are stuck in these facilities. You know, many of them will be psychologically damaged to the point where they won't want to come back, but it won't stop other people from coming in. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think there's any plan that they can come up with to keep these people out. Just like there's no plan they've ever come up with to keep the drugs from coming in from Mexico either. But please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen, about Trump. Simply don't care about the conditions. And the Democrats have spent the greater part of the week whining and complaining about the conditions there. But it's just amazing. They're completely blind to the conditions here in the country. Why don't you go to San Quentin or Rikers Island and get on the media and talk about the conditions there? You don't have to go to that border at all. There's facilities right in the heart of the USA, and the facilities are horrible. But please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. And these folks can't even vote for them. And they got more concern for them than regular American citizens. You suck, Democratic Party. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell. And I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.